Hello, and welcome to Weed and Grub.
I'm into making that noise now.
It's better than P-Hundy.
P-Hundy? No, Hundo P. What are you talking? P-Hundy?
I don't fucking know. I'm trying to not let it infiltrate my mind.
Hundo P. I'm going to get it tattooed, I'm telling you. I'm going to make it happen.
No.
I want to do one Hundy.
One Hundy?
I like one Hundy.
It's a tattoo you're going to regret.
I think Hundo P I will.
You're going to regret any tattoo at this point. What am I saying?
It's true.
Hundo P.
Hundo P. You know what is Hundo P?
What?
This late grade sativa.
Yo, that is the truth.
It's fucking great for spring cleaning. I cleaned out my Tupperware drawer, which was a true nightmare. Like I pulled everything out. I got rid of everything that didn't have wasn't matched. I matched everything up, and then I reorganized it so I could easily grab a bottom and a lid. It's all by size. Everything's clean. It's wiped free of grease.
Now it's actually a drawer.
It's a
drawer. Drawer was being kind about what that chaos was. It looked like the mind of a madman in there.
Yeah. It was
real.
some fucking beautiful mind shit. It was crazy.
Yeah. A Tupperware drawer, because you always see it in infomercials. Mm-hmm. Where they open the case,
and it all falls out on them.
All falls out.
Oh no, my Tupperware collection.
Oh, that'd be a good late grade commercial, like an
what?
infomercial.
Oh yeah,
for spring cleaning, and you open it up, and all your Tupperware falls on you, and then they go to the drawer below, and it's like do 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 do.
Or reorganizing your stash box, maybe. Like I have so many great samples and stuff, and I want to like always display them all, but I feel like it just ends up like a kind of a weird jumble on my coffee table. Maybe after this, I'm gonna organize my stash.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Sativa's the jam for jamming on stuff like that.
Fucking organizing or cleaning in general. Just getting shit nice.
Spring cleaning.
Yeah, spring cleaning.
Like we were talking about last week with Elu. Okay, and you already know this, and that's why you're laughing. Fuck you.
I know what you're gonna say.
Super
That's
fuck
so
you.
Funny.
Because when Lake Ray was like, "Yo, check out this sativa," and I hit it, and then I cleaned my whole place. I moved a bunch of stuff that I'm gonna donate into my car. Got into my car, turned it on. Car won't start. I just moved my stuff to my car, and I was just sitting in the driveway. It's just like my car is filled with my spring clean, not doing anything but sitting there. It's an absolute nightmare. I felt like I just moved something from the right to the left.
You just made your car into a dumpster.
Yeah.
You just like took all of those, because I saw those. It's no fucking, I mean, I haven't looked in your car, but I imagine it's to the rafters.
My
full.
trunk side.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes,
that's what broke it. That's why it won't start. Because you spring cleaned everything into it, and then your car was like, fuck you, man.
fucking too many bumps in the trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I fucking love this sativa, the lemon sour diesel. It's a sativa dominant hybrid. It's got awesome limonene, so it's got like that nice lemony note.
Oh, lemon like Pledge. Like something that you actually clean your house with because it smells nice.
Yeah, except this is, delicious to also ingest.
Yeah.
It's not like smoking Pledge.
You don't think that's a good gift box?
No, I think it's great. What, Pledge?
Yeah, like a thing of Pledge, a lemon lime Gatorade, and some Lake Grade lemon.
That's a great care package, a little bundle to send to someone to like get your life right.
Yeah.
You clean your house. Clean your house out. Clean your house out. Anyway, if you live in California, check out Lake Grade. You can order it at the link in our bio on Instagram, and they're at Delivered with Ease, and they're just the fucking greatest. It's like outdoor craft cannabis, sun grown with love in Lake County, California.
Smoke Lake Grade because it'll help you organize your stash box, organize your Tupperware drawer, or guarantee your car won't start.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what else it did? It like spirited us around Catalina Island.
Yeah, you gotta disappear for 3 days, turn the phone off, and get high on a golf cart riding around an island if possible.
That's the lifestyle. That's the one I want.
Jesus
Christ. We
Christ.
cleaned out our body temples. Listen, I didn't even know. I don't even want to talk about it because it was such a magical place that exists like so perfectly in my brain. I don't want to like pop the bubble at all.
I've never enjoyed looking at somebody's vacation slides because I didn't go.
Right. Oh, you had a great time without me, and now you're going to tell me all about it? Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. It's like telling me about a meal you ate. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Or your dreams.
Well, then I'd rather actually talk about Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about it. Shout out Bigfoot.
Yeah, because that cat, the place we stayed in Catalina had a cat.
A fat cat.
A fat fucking cat.
A big fat cat that looked like if my cat Bobo were rich. It was like if Bobo had money.
Yeah, it's so true.
Well, and he had he's Bigfoot because he had the crazy extra toe on his, I guess, thumb.
He is gluttonous. Even his feet are gluttonous.
He was like a big, fat, gray, beautiful tabby who had a lot of poise and confidence and kind of would show up when we were having, wine and cheese or whatever the fuck, but he wasn't really sure that he even needed that salami. Like he actually at one point he looked at us and I was like, I'm going to give him a piece of salami. And then he nagged me and left.
How'd you feel after that?
I felt like shunned by this cat. I was like, I just got nagged by a rich cat. And then I went and found him and I was like, come and have this salami. And he saw me from far away and I was like waving the salami like a fucking stan. Like, hello, can I get your autograph over here? And he came over and he sniffed it and he thought about it. Mm-hmm. He took the stairs.
That was what I was going to say. My favorite part was two parts. One is he was laying near us because he knew how to work it. This isn't his first time playing the game.
Deaf.
But he was looking away from us with one ear cocked towards us. And you go, he's listening for salami.
He was listening
That cat
for
is
salami.
listening for salami right now. And it's so true because as soon as you picked up a piece off the plate, it's like when the poker face, like an eye twitches when you call someone's bluff because his ear twitched on the salami sound.
You just saw it very slightly swivel and then the hairs inside the ear kind of just like oscillate a little bit. And you're like, holy fuck, that ear is listening for salami. I mean, it was so perfect because I gotta say, we'd gotten stoned. We live in the golf cart lifestyle, driving around this island, and then we got back to this place where they put out this amazing wine and cheese spread, and there was a strawberry that looked...
Oh, wait, before we go on to that.
What?
The other thing I wanted to talk about with Bigfoot to finish your neg story, because you did get taken for a ride.
I did. I got nagged by a cat, and I fucking fell for it.
Yeah.
Man, I know how to not get in those relationships anymore, you would think.
That's what therapy is supposed to help you with.
It worked on me. That cat worked on me.
When you held the salami and he decided he did want it, he had every opportunity, and it was a half an inch leap for a cat to jump through very wide railing separating the upper tier from the lower tier on the roof.
Right.
So he could have just jumped through the railing very simply and came up. He took the long way around and took the stairs one by one to come to the salami, not only making you wait for him while holding it like an asshole out in the air.
He was like Lady Gaga taking the fucking stairs at the Oscars. That fucking cat took his goddamn time and enjoyed every moment of making me wait. You're right. I was an asshole. I was an asshole, completely like enslaved to that cat's fucking wishes. And then like he sniffed the salami and thought about whether or not it was worth it. And I was like, please like me. Fucking Bigfoot.
I loved him. We have some pictures of him. We'll put some pictures of him on this app, especially because our guest this week, Mitch, has Wally and Irma. So maybe we'll pull a Wally Irma Bigfoot pick.
Got to put Bobo in there too.
And a Bobo one.
A Bobo, got to round it out.
Oh man, can you imagine if they met?
Yeah, I mean, Bobo would have eaten Bigfoot alive because Bigfoot's never been in a fight.
No.
But the power of Bigfoot just exuded the confidence that cat had.
You're right. That's like when you meet the boss and all the henchmen fight for him, and then if you hit him once, he cries.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. Yeah.
Totally. I just wanted to talk about how great it was to like get stoned and come back to that wine and cheese though, because the place that we were staying at was like definitely kind of like an older group of people who were definitely drinking their wine, and we rolled in high, clearly having a great time, laughing our fucking asses off, did the whole thing with Bigfoot. And then the strawberry on the wine and cheese plate looked exactly like one of the ghosts in Pac-Man. And so we played like IRL Pac-Man with a strawberry ghost and a piece of salami, like doing the sounds. And then at one point I was like,
It was great. Well, we have it on video, so we'll throw it in the IG story. Also, there's nothing more fun when then a server walks by, sees me holding a phone, and you going, and just makes that slow turn back away from us as if we're too busy and he doesn't want to interrupt this creativity.
Yeah, he was like, they don't need anything from me. Mm-mm. They are all set. They are just fine. And we were. It was fucking great.
Yeah.
It was good to blow out the pipes. What do you call it? Blowing on the...
Clear the filter? Oh, blow in the Nintendo cartridge.
Yes.
Like, yeah, hit your soul cartridge.
Yeah, we blew that thing out.
Spring cleaning, man. So important.
Can we talk about how I nearly lost an important part of my body at the beach?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't do a slow fall.
Like you normally would.
I normally do the fat giraffe on roller skates going down at like fucking halftime. I was adjusting my beach chair and it collapsed on my finger.
That was insane.
And thank God you were, only a couple of chairs away, and I just looked at you with panic in my eyes.
It was because there was that safari hunter hiding in the bushes who put a ham sandwich under the beach chair.
It's
and
true.
as soon as you reached for it, he yanked the string.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what happened. I saw a ham sandwich under my beach chair. I turned around to grab it, and the beach chair collapsed on my finger, trapping me so that safari hunter could come and cut me up and serve me for dinner or whatever. Because man, I would make a good meal. Let me tell you.
It was really. You would be delicious.
I think so.
Yeah, you would be really. Ooh, like
It
on
would
a
be
spit,
tasty.
turn
Yeah.
you around, slow roast, crackle, crackle.
Yep.
Yum.
Delish.
Put potatoes under you.
Yeah, definitely. Some
Damn.
potatoes, some carrots. A little, really. You look like you're really thinking about this.
Yeah, it's like Looney Tunes when I'm picturing Bugs Bunny in the
It's just
big pot.
Yeah.
With them putting potato shavings in it. No, but you really did get hurt. I got scared because you were like, help, 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 help.
No, I said help me so
me.
fast. I was
Yeah.
going help me, help me, help me, help me. And luckily you were, you moved with alacrity, you moved with speed. You saved my finger from being severed from my body by that very heavy beach chair.
It was really heavy, and I don't think we are alone in having pinched our fingers in a car door
Ooh.
or in like a steel sign that's
Yeah.
on, like if you're a restaurant worker and you pick up the steel sign outside on the walk wrong, the
Ow.
whole thing collapses on you. That's what happened to me. It's scary and you feel helpless. I remember one time at our friend Ryan Howard's, my friend Chuck Ma went to hold the elevator door, but the sensor didn't work, and the door just closed on his arm, and it started going up. And
No!
he was like, help me, help me. And we're like pulling on it, and we're hitting open, and it was very harrowing.
Oh my God, that is my true nightmare. Those horrifying elevator stories. Oh my God, I have like the full shivers and my everything just puckered. I had a
100%.
full body pucker.
100%. Yeah, really scary. So like getting anything trapped in anything is a nightmare, but like a finger or a digit when you don't have the strength and you don't have the leverage to get out is
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
I mean, I was like in my bathing suit and a caftan with a pina colada in one hand. And so it just felt like very, like in the moment, it was like excruciating. And also it felt like I really was going to lose my finger. But looking back on it, it was a pretty classic comedy moment.
It was very funny. Yeah, it's a good bit.
You know what else was funny?
What?
That fucking rich asshole 2 fucking cabanas over.
Anybody who's like, the server's like, hi, my name is Taryn, and I will be your server. And he's like, awesome, T, and starts calling her T right away. And that's followed by T. What's your favorite drinks on here? And don't lie, because he's like charmy and smarmy and a real piece of shit.
Yeah, and that's the fucking psycho thing that I wanted to point out is who says, tell me your favorite drink on here and don't lie? Like, why would she lie? It's her job to be a fucking awesome server and like, that comes from a person who lies about everything.
That's what I'm learning in therapy.
Yeah.
The idea of like what I'm mad at you about is
Yep.
me straight up projecting me.
Yeah.
That's a crazy idea.
Isn't that crazy? If you're saying something like that, that means that you lie all the time, that you would project on someone else that they would lie about something as simple as like what drink they like.
Right.
And don't lie, because I'm a serial liar and you can't trust anything I say. I didn't like when they got up together to go somewhere else and she put on her sweater and he turned to her because she was in a bikini. And she put on her sweater and he goes, why'd you put on your sweater? Like, can I even like don't cover up your beautiful body because I want people to see your body as my trophy? I don't even know. I'm a sign. See, I'm projecting. Now I'm projecting.
Well, it's just, what's the difference to you, bro?
Don't question whether or not someone wants to put on a fucking sweater.
That's it.
She felt cute in her sweater. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, the beach did wonders for us, and we're
Yes,
very
it did.
relaxed.
We found lots to complain about at the beach. I nearly lost a finger, and there was an asshole 10 feet away. We're the worst.
I like that we came back to LA worse than when we left.
I know, we took a break and we totally restored. And we're like, oh no, we're much worse when we have energy. Yeah, we're much worse. We don't get better, we get worse. A vacation turns us into total nightmares.
Absolutely. I like it. The other really cool thing on that beach, bales of cannabis floated up because I guess the cartel ditched them on a fucking speed chase, and then the FBI or CIA, somebody came out and a helicopter was marking the spot. It was a whole to-do because I guess drugs float up from the ocean in Catalina quite a bit.
Yeah, because of the way the currents move down the California coast, they push them offshore from Los Angeles and into Catalina Island, and we were in that harbor. Avalon is the natural harbor, so it like literally popped up like 100 feet in front of the fucking dock in the main town.
So much weed. It was so funny when all of us as tourists looked like we were doing an Ironman and we were all swimming towards it trying to get a fucking piece of the pie.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. That one dude on the jet ski was swinging an anchor over his head and trying to hook it in.
Yee-hoo. It was amazing. I couldn't believe that bales of weed popped up like 100 feet from where we were sitting.
Do you think that's going to come to an end soon?
What, cartel weed?
Yeah. Like, do you think, like, you know, those big, epic 1.5 million pounds of cannabis floated up wrapped in packages?
You know what they're called? Square groupers.
Square groupers?
Square groupers, because a grouper is a fish. And a lot of that drug running happened on the East Coast from into Florida. And those bales would pop up, and their groupers are common fish on the East Coast. And so they called them square groupers. I believe that's why they called them square groupers. I just know from...
It's very cool. It's interesting.
The 70s counterculture drug running lore of the East Coast and Florida and all that kind of stuff.
That's a rad nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get a square grouper.
A square grouper.
What do you want, an eighth? Nah.
I'll take a square grouper.
Let me get a square grouper.
A bale.
Fucking...
Of Mexican dirtweed.
Right.
You know, to answer your question about like those square groupers popping up, I don't actually know much about it because I think everything is shifting so quickly because now Mexico is moving to legalize weed, as Hawaii just on Tuesday also voted to legalize. Like everything is turning so quickly and moving. So I don't know if the cartels are still investing in running weed or if they're turning to other things, drugs, you know, or other things to make money. I'm just not clear on
I don't know either.
What's happening. So it would be interesting to talk to someone about it and find out what the skinny is.
Well, that actually ties into our news story this week with Jay-Z. Do you want to get to the Grub Gazette?
Let's get to the Grub Gazette.
Cool.
We've got a news story coming from. Where's it coming from this week?
Marijuana Moment. So the Grub Gazette this week is presented by Marijuana Moment. You can check them out at marijuanamoment.net. And it is that last Monday, Jay-Z revealed an ad campaign for his company that highlights the absurdity of the war on drugs by pointing out that some states are more lax on cousin marriage, cannibalism, and sex with farm animals than they are on fucking weed.
So you're talking about Jay-Z's
Monogram
weed brand, Monogram.
Yeah, exactly. So when Jay-Z launched Monogram, I'm going to be honest, there was a lot of pushback because it's quite an expensive brand. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of people on Clubhouse who were like, what's he doing for the community? What's he doing for expungement? What's he doing to raise awareness? He's just a billionaire mogul trying to get in this game. And shut the fuck up. Literally shut up. Because the dude started on the corner slinging. So give me a break.
Don't talk about your feelings when you don't actually know what's happening.
Thank you. Well said. And so he launched this really great campaign for Monogram that had all of these billboards, huge billboards. I'll just read some of them because they're true, honest, and they cut through the chatter. One billboard said, weed is a federal... That's what it didn't say. What it does say is weed is a federal crime, even in the states where sex with farm animals isn't.
Yeah.
Yo, you can marry your first cousin in more states than you can buy recreational weed.
Yep, cousin fucking.
Legal?
Weed? Not legal.
Not legal. Fucking facts. The war on drugs worked if systematic racism was the goal.
If systemic racism was the goal.
Systemic racism. That's what it said.
Yeah.
Thank you. So,
fucking A.
Man, just like using art and entertainment in a clean, clear way that just shows the hypocrisy of what is going on and comparing it to something that has usually been used, I think, as a punchline in comedy, like cousin fucker, redneck shit. Like, that's usually a punchline that gets a laugh. And in this case, it's using it to shine a fucking light on how the war on drugs has been a propaganda machine that has destroyed lives.
Yeah, he's seeding the narrative with critical thinking with this ad campaign, right? Like there's one that I'm just looking at on Twitter. You can follow his company at Monogram Company. There's a tweet that says, there's a state in America where cannibalism is technically legal and cannabis isn't. The hypocrisy of America's drug policy needs to end. You know, so he's forcing people to think about it. And I love that. I mean, he's, changing the narrative by inviting you to actually like have some thoughts and form an opinion that's not just force-fed to you by the racist war on drugs that's been going on for the better part of 50 fucking years and that has ruined millions of lives. So
it's also a really good way because we talk to so many people and we talk about on here how do you reach people who grew up at a time where to them cannabis is very scary. It's a serious drug. It's like
It's
bad
a gateway
news.
drug that you equate to harder drugs like crack or heroin, right?
Exactly. And a lot of the advice is compared to alcohol, the deaths with drunk driving, you know, things that Bean and Stock talked about on our pod. But
Yeah, and the comparison is that cannabis doesn't kill anyone.
yeah, you take a nap
An
if you get too ripped.
Yeah, an illegal, drug like alcohol kills millions of people a year.
I would argue that this is more effective and is better because the idea of alcohol is so pervasive through society, and Bud Light commercials on the Super Bowl are heralded as some of the most creative advertising of all time. It's hard to compete with that. And something like this is, to me, a stronger argument in some ways.
Yeah, it's super effective messaging. I think that's the thing that the weed industry hits up against a lot is it's really hard to find effective messaging that people will respond to. And this is an incredible ad campaign. Like, it's great. And especially coming from Jay-Z. I mean, he's, doing the fucking work to give back to the people who are most impacted by the war on drugs because he put $10 million towards a fund to promote participation in state legal marijuana markets by communities most impacted by prohibition. That's what the marijuana moment.net article is saying. And it's just like, yeah, these people, it takes Black leaders to change the marijuana industry to focus money on the communities that were most impacted because that's where they come from. And the fucking, wealthy white people who are coming in and just profiting off of this are never going to fucking do what's right.
No. What's going to make them?
That's not necessarily true because there are lots of people who are trying to do what's right.
That's true. We do talk about Bill Gates a lot, not about cannabis, but
but
when you and I
game
look
too,
about...
I think there are a lot of people who are, I just want to step that back and say, I think there are a lot of people who are trying to do the right thing, but it really is taking people like Jay-Z and Al Harrington coming out with these cannabis brands to say, I'm going to fund these social equity businesses, bring them on board through my power as a star who can focus attention on what needs to happen. And it's taking that to really change the fucking game.
Yeah, this is also a great place to say we have 2 exciting guests coming next week.
Yes.
And everything you're talking about kind of weaves into that very beautifully, Mary Jane.
Yes, changing the game.
Changing the game.
Oh, that's a little teaser.
Which also, can we also talk about South by real quick before
Yes.
we get to our Buds of the Week and our VIBs, the Doughboys?
Yeah, changing the game as well. I mean, I'm so thrilled that we're part of the track that is changing the entertainment landscape.
At South by Southwest, which is a big deal because I think we are the only cannabis podcast at South by Southwest. I would also, we are, and also to be part of the track called Changing the Entertainment Landscape, and them choosing us to be under an umbrella like that feels really good.
Yeah, and we had 2 amazing conversations with artists who use their art and entertainment to destigmatize cannabis. That's what our panel is called, How Art and Entertainment Are Crucial in Destigmatizing Cannabis. And we spoke with Open Mike Eagle and Laganja Estranja, and they both had so much incredible wisdom and insight to offer about their careers and how they've used weed and how they see the future and what needs to be done. And it was just fucking neat and a great hang.
It was a great hang. And the way that they both talk about their professions and the people at the top of their professions, there's no smoke and mirrors in these conversations that we had with them, which is exactly what I was hoping would happen.
I mean, there was some smoke, but no mirrors.
That's why we do this podcast.
Yep.
Well, do you want to get to our Buds of the Week this week?
We have to get to our Buds of the Week because then right after them, there are VIBs.
Our very important buds, the Doughboys. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So my Bud of the Week this week is someone who we met when we were going to be going to South by Southwest 2020. She was at the meeting that we went to where we were like learning about what it was going to be expected of us and all that kind of stuff. And she was so neat. We connected there. Her name is Natalia. Her Instagram is @lovingmydots. And she travels the world doing work on self-acceptance and inspiring people. She has a facial condition that she was born with that she had to go through a lot of surgeries for. And now she just like embraces it and talks to people about self-acceptance, about how you look. And her whole message is just so fucking inspiring. And her post yesterday for International Women's Day was several quotes from a bunch of different people, and it just blew my mind. I love her as a follow, and she points me to other people to also listen to. So give her a follow @lovingmydots, and she's just really neat, and I hope that we can connect again in real life at the next South by.
My Bud of the Week this week is Leonardo Chop. We met on Clubhouse. One of the few things Clubhouse is good for is to meet people like Leonardo. He's from STL, lives in Atlanta now. He's SZA, you know the artist SZA?
I do.
Yeah, he's her creative director. I didn't know that until after I started looking at his clothing at leonardo.chop on Instagram. He has a whole clothing line called Hazelwood, which is like a 314 neighborhood. That's like a St. Louis neighborhood for me. And I saw his sweats, and I had to cop a pair of Hazelwood sweatpants. And they're so dope. They're one of the coolest pieces of clothing I own. This is a small thing, but maybe you'll feel me on this. Ankle elastic is super important in a sweatpant. And these hold at the calf perfectly. So you can like wear them with like elastic confidence when you walk, because they won't keep sliding down. You have to pull them back up. They'll sit on the calf perfectly, so you can still show off your new Biohack Tokyo Nikes that I just ordered. His clothing is so good, and there's a reason he's SZA's creative director. And they just released Good Days, which if you haven't heard SZA's song Good Days, it's so dreamy good.
Yeah.
And he's just a talented dude from the STL who's now doing big things with some of the biggest artists in the world. So at leonardo.chop, give him a follow, get Hazelwood clothing, support SZA, and support the 314.
Well, let's get to our VIBs, our very important buds.
The Doughboys.
Nick and
Mitch from the Doughboys. You probably already listened to their podcast, The Doughboys. If you don't,
You're an idiot.
it's kind of true.
You have to.
Well, they're in the middle of Munch Madness right now.
The fucking best. They've got Nicole Byer and Betsy Sodaro coming up, I just saw.
And they just did an episode with Gabrus. And then on their Doughboys Double, they had Eva. We were on Doughboys Double. If you listen to the Doughboys, you already know what the Doughboys Double is. But if you don't, we were a guest on a Doughboys Double, which is their Patreon episodes. It's only $5. The link is going to be in our bio to join their Patreon.
I'm a member of Golden Plate Club.
You better believe
Proud
it.
member.
And they were just on Good Morning. They were on The Simpsons and Good Morning America.
Hell yeah. They were featured on The Simpsons. And then they were, well, you know what? I was really disappointed in the Good Morning America segment, because it was like a 10-minute segment, and they kept the Doughboys to the first part of it. And then they cut to some other guy, and I was like, bring back the Doughboys. You had gold.
You had
Were
gold.
You throwing away gold? Why are you panning to this fucking dude who's trying to show you how to make a sandwich? I want to watch him make a sandwich. I want to listen to Nick and Mitch.
I do too. I know. They're pictures, because it was about the history of the chicken sandwich, and then this cook made a chicken sandwich with a Strahan.
Yeah.
And yeah, give me the Nick and Mitch.
All fucking day. And you were saying that there's a Mitch cut of the...
When the Doughboys on their Instagram, or no, on their Twitter, shared the Good Morning America segment, under it, Mitch said, the Snyder cut. There is a Mitch cut. So if we can get that Mitch cut of the Doughboys on GMA, would love to see it.
They're so entertaining. I have to say, when we were listening to this to edit it together, it was like I was soothed, like I was next to a gently babbling brook. It kind of doesn't really matter what they're talking about, because their rhythm and like enjoyment of the moment is unfucking paralleled. Like the hang, it doesn't even really matter.
We had so much fun, we forgot to talk about food and weed.
Yeah, we talked about Star Trek. I mean, well, you'll hear it. We talked about everything under the sun. Ghosts. So much. And they're just the best. They're like the greatest all the time. I would, just love to hang with them 24/7, which is creepy. So let's cut that part out.
Nope.
Sorry,
Staying
guys.
in. Talk about babbling brook. Mary Jane's great, because if you're quiet, she can just let it all come out.
Yeah, I'll just slowly unravel as you just stare at me silently, and I'll just spill my fucking guts. It's horrifying. It's horrifying.
You want to get to our interview?
Please, God.
Okay. Without further ado, here's our interview with Nick and Mitch of
The Doughboys.
Hello, Doughboys. Thank you for doing this. Nick and Mitch, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Very excited to be here.
Nick is having chair drama right off jump.
Chair comedy.
I've got the highest form of comedy. I've got a standing desk set up at home, and I realized I was sitting down, and then if I'm sitting down, I get groggy. So I was like, I'll just stand up. So I adjusted my desk to elevate it for this conversation.
Can I just say that groggy, just one of the all-time great words. It just fits it just really fits. Groggy. I feel groggy.
Do you know what the origins of it are? Because I think of is it related to rum? Grog?
I think it's related to Grogu.
Yeah, I think it's Grogu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Which
new,
is-
I think it's a new word.
It sounds like a Japanese video game character.
Grogu
is Baby Yoda.
is Baby Yoda.
Oh, really?
That's his name, yeah.
Yoda. Wait, Yoda changed. Obviously, I haven't seen Star Wars since they got rid of my favorite Mandalorian character last week. What? Baby Yoda's real name is Grogu.
There is the Mandalorian series is there is a character who is a viral sensation and is also just cute as a button. I like him. Baby Yoda, but he's just called the child on the show, and then it's not until season 2 you find out his name is canonically Grogu. So the fans nicknamed him Baby Yoda because he is like a baby version of Yoda, but he's not Yoda. He's a different guy.
Wow.
I think it should have been.
Yeah.
I think it should have been a Baby Watto. I've told you this, Nick, that it should have been a Baby
this is
Watto.
Which was another way to go. I think the Baby Yoda is worked, but I understand your opinion.
But you know how I feel about Babu Frick. Babu Frick can suck my dick. You know this.
Oh man.
Wagner, didn't you say that? Didn't you punch it up to Babu Frick can suck my baby dick? Didn't you say that at one point?
Sounds like something I would say.
Yeah.
I Babu Frick was so, everyone was so, and I don't know why we're talking Star Wars. This is just for Mitch and I. Everyone was so looking for anything, just like clawing for anything at all redeeming about Episode 9, about Rise of Skywalker, because it's such a fucking shit show. And they're like, yes, Babu Frick.
Yeah.
Babu Frick is a big mood. You know, people were like really trying to pretend Babu Frick at all redeemed.
Why?
This pile
Why
of
isn't
shit.
that pretending? I don't understand the pretending. It doesn't make
I
sense.
don't know. I understand either. Like,
Because you
Babu
need to
Frick
go
is cute.
viral.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess so.
The need to go
It's
viral.
That's true.
It's important. It's important to, even if something is terrible, it's super important that you celebrate it so that you seem important.
Yes.
I like this theory.
Right? I hate it.
Yeah.
I hope. I'm trying to find a Russian hacker on Fiverr to just destroy Twitter. That's my dream.
He's out there. I've got to be quiet about all the Star Wars stuff because I know not what you speak of because I was a Trekkie.
Oh,
And-
wow.
Hey, I got to tell you, you don't know what we're speaking of, but you just talked like Yoda for a second.
That's true.
I know not what you speak of. You sounded very Yoda-ish.
I know a little. I know enough to pretend to nod along. You know, like I know Jar Jar Binks was a terrible idea, and
No,
everyone
I
loves
disagree.
Adam Driver, right? Oh, you disagree?
I like, well, I mean, like, it was like the first, I mean, it's a revolutionary idea. I guess the people didn't love the character that much, but he's silly. Wags, what do you think?
I really didn't like Jar Jar at first, and then over time I've kind of I like Ahmed Best, the actor, a lot. I think he's great. I think the for better or worse, that's kind of like Jar Jar ended up being the template for what, like these fully realized CG characters. So he was kind of ahead of his time in that way. Everyone credited Smeagol and Gollum, but Gollum came after Jar Jar. So, yeah, but as a character, I don't know, he's just kind of annoying, I think it's as much the way he was written as performed.
Which I've never seen a Star Trek movie, except you know what? I saw the later ones when they were rebooted. Like I've never seen Wrath of Khan, which I know everyone loves and stuff. But
You've seen the J.J. Abrams ones.
I've seen the JJ ones. Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. What do you think about those?
Well, Mary Jane, what do you? Because you're a real.
Yeah, as a Trekkie.
You're a Trekkie.
Oh, I mean, Wrath of Khan is just do yourself a favor and watch it today. It's one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time. Like, do you know about the helmet with the creature that goes in the ear?
Nope.
Oh,
I know, I've seen it.
it's so good.
That movie is awesome. It's really
It's
good, and it
classic.
holds up too. It's like
I gotta
good.
watch Wrath of Khan. I gotta watch it.
Ricardo Montalban at the height of his powers.
Oh,
you
so
know,
good.
duking it out with Leonard Nimoy and Shatner. It's just like classic good acting in a sci-fi movie. It's wonderful.
Kind of
And
also.
the later ones.
I'm sorry.
No, so I was just gonna say the later ones are fun. They're kind of goofy. They punch up the camp.
Yeah, I think Wrath of Khan is kind of low key horny a little bit. Like it's kind of got that energy just by the presence of Montalban and then Shatner. These are just kind of
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Now,
Just a little bit.
now I might check it out tonight.
Some serious scenery chewing. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. Do you like so as a Trekkie, Mary Jane? Where do you fall in terms of like your favorite series?
Next Generation all the way.
Hell yeah.
That was my sort of like coming of age. I was in college when that was, or at theater school when that was out, and so it was like every Sunday night we would get together and watch that and the X-Files, and get stoned, and that was like the perfect 3 hours.
That rules.
Damn. Yeah, that rules.
Yeah.
Did you?
How about you?
Did you fuck with Picard at all?
Yeah. I mean, he's so hot.
I meant the CBS All Access series Picard. Yeah, sorry.
I did. I mean, just in general, would I fuck Picard? Yes, I would absolutely have sex with him. 100%. And I did download the CBS All Access Pass so I could watch the first few episodes, but then it just seemed expensive and the show didn't seem very good.
Yeah, I've heard people were disappointed. I was a big Next Generation guy as well. And then I tried to get in. People tell me Deep Space Nine is awesome, and I've just never been able to get into it. But I do want to give it I do want to just watch the whole thing at some point because it would be up my alley.
When did Next Generation air? Because it was on early, right? Like I remember seeing it at my grandma's house a long time ago too, right? Like
the 90s.
I think the first episode aired in either 94 or 95.
Oh, okay, all right. So that was,
and it ran for a few years.
Towards the end of my time at my grandma's house, I'd say. But I, yeah, it felt like it ran for. It's one of those shows that I feel like if you told me it was like lasted for a decade, I would believe it. But I don't know the actual timeline of it. 94 to what, Wags? Do you know?
I'm gonna look it up.
It took up a big space in my
Yes.
in that it was like the anti-Friends. It was like either you watched Friends or you watched X-Files and Next Generation. Those were the defining, that was the line.
It's what Martin was to Seinfeld. Either you watch Seinfeld or you watch Martin. They were on at the same time.
I watched both.
Okay, I'm surprised by this, but I think because they aired in syndication, they were re-airing a lot of them later.
Yeah.
It premiered in 1987.
And then
to
me is what
for 178 episodes.
It was a grandma show. I knew I saw it at my grandma's house. So but how long did it run to? Like when did the series stop?
It ran in syndication until 1994.
Whoa!
Oh, it ended in 94.
Yeah, that's what at least what Wikipedia says. And then I think because it was syndicated, I think they were just re-airing all over the place.
That you've just completely blown my mind because I feel like I watched the pilot, the premiere, but that must have been Deep Space Nine when I was in Montreal in the 90s.
It's totally Deep Space Nine premiered in 93. Yeah,
it could have been one of those classic Canada things. Got it later or something.
Oh, yeah.
That's totally it. Exactly. It did premiere in Canada in 1994. That's what happened.
We were finding out you guys just got KFC biscuits. Like, didn't have them for the longest time.
There's so much we don't have in Canada. So much.
I heard South Park just premiered up there, and the people are pissed about how they're treating Canadians.
Oh yeah, with their beady little eyes and their flappy little heads. You can't imagine how I have suffered at the hands of people who love South Park. No, it's fantastic. I mean, what would Brian Boitano do is one of the all-time great.
It is. Their weird fascination with Canada is very funny. They have such a weird, which is great. Still like for a show that's run that long, still like a very, very funny show. Nick, do you feel the same way, or do you not?
I don't keep up with it. I don't keep up with it. I don't watch it regularly. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think those sometimes in some ways the kind of like. In some ways, the politics of I feel like maybe not aged great, but then in other ways, because it's kind of like this weird crypto-libertarian, fuck everyone. But also, then I do kind of understand the instinct to look at everything and react and be like, burn it all down, because it's all just complete nonsense, and we live in a failed state.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
wow,
I don't keep up with
it feels
the show.
like you had like a strong non-opinion about it.
100%. That's what I bring to the table.
I was living in a New York apartment, and we were getting evicted because they were going to tear the building down to put up a high-rise in Chelsea.
Man, that sucks.
we got an extra year where we were the only apartment in the building because they had fucked up on the lease and they had one number off on our, and we caught it.
Wow.
So instead of being, it was like the end of the lease was supposed to be 2015 or whatever, and they had made a mistake and they'd put 2016. And so they totally evicted all the tenants in the building, and we had the run of the full building for a whole year because of one digit.
That's like a movie, like a kids take over a fucking apartment building or something. That fucking rules.
What was it like?
It fucking ruled. It was great.
Man.
We had crazy parties all the time. The cops came at one point because we were singing Hotel California at 4 a.m. And they were like, it's not that you're too loud. Your neighbors just can't stand to hear Hotel California for like the 5th time. Wow. It was great.
It's so sad to that rules, and you're like, whoa, I got to do this for a year, and then like, oh man, like the super rich just live that way constantly. That's like a whole apartment building's worth of like tenants like just gone. It's just one person living there, which is insane. I'm very. It seems amazing. Did you get to like take over like the other apartments?
No, I'm even though I have the heart of a renegade, I have the attitudes of a Canadian where I don't like getting in trouble very much.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to break all the rules, but I end up following most of them, unfortunately.
It would be hard for me to know that like every room was empty except for mine, and I would like probably try to get in just to see him and stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, go shower in someone else's
Why not?
house.
They're just going to tear it down anyway. Did you have, I think, and Mitch, I thought this is where you were going with this, because you are terrified of ghosts and spirits and ghoulies and whatnot. That I think if I was in a big empty building by myself, I would think that I was going to be, it was like haunted. I'd be scared of that.
That was kind of where I was going with it, of like tiptoeing around and going into different apartments seems like fun and scary, but I would also be terrified. That was kind of a part of it, but I didn't want to out myself as a fool who's afraid of ghosts.
This is a safe space.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
I believe in ghosts.
I'm afraid of ghosts. Was it haunted?
Yeah, I think it was.
Wow.
I think all of New York is haunted. You know,
that
that
makes
whole
sense.
city is haunted. So definitely some weird stuff. I mean, especially if you're like taking psychedelics at 3 a.m, you're going to see some things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never felt endangered though. I always felt very safe there. I felt very protected. It was a good vibe in general.
After the mayor order to shut down the Ghostbusters chamber and unleash the spirits into the city, New York has never been the same. There's
residual Slimers all over the place.
Yeah.
No hot dog is safe.
That's if Doughboys come to town, they say the same thing. No hot dog is safe.
Do you feel like it's haunted where you are now?
Me? No,
Yeah.
I don't think that my house is haunted. When I was younger, I was like afraid of my house a little bit growing up because like comparatively, it's not even that old. It's probably now closer to like 100 years old, but like maybe it was like actually maybe not even 100 years old. Probably like 90 or 80 or 90 years old, which is still an old house. But
Yeah.
when I was growing up and it was like like a 50 or 60-year-old house, I was like, oh, this house is old and scary. But more houses, like my best friends, 2 of my best friends who lived up the street, their house was haunted and it was older, and that like did terrify me. Like this, and it is crazy that you can just see a house that's like 300 years old, that like around the corner from me. That's
right.
The Adams Mansion is like not even a 2-minute drive away, and it's old as hell. So.
Yeah, where Lurch and Wednesday and Gomez
Dear
live.
God.
Fester. Yeah.
Can't forget Fester.
Did you say Lurch?
I did say Lurch.
Okay. Cousin It? Did you say Cousin It?
I did not. I forgot
Cousin It?
Cousin
All right,
It.
good. You
The
can't,
thing, the hand.
Thing,
the thing, yeah.
Pugsley.
Pugsley.
You
There's
forgot
so many.
Pugsley, Wags.
There's so
So
many
many.
Adams.
I would be worried if I was the thing and I saw you walking in there. I'm sure that you would fucking toss them in your pants, Wags.
All right.
You think Weiger's gonna get Thing to jack him off?
I think Weiger is gonna force Thing to jack him off.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it?
It's-
I'm not sure. I
Traditional
don't.
stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sit on the thing.
Yeah, sit on the thing to numb him.
Now my question
If I
is:
had a yeah,
has Thing? Do you think Thing ever has jerked anything off?
100%.
Yeah, probably.
Absolutely.
Teenage Pugsley, probably first. I mean, that would be my would be my guess.
Yeah.
Is Thing on the sex offenders list?
I thought more like Pugsley would like talk him into it.
Okay, all right.
He'd
It
be
was.
reluctant.
I'm not sure what Thing's age is either. So.
Yeah, hard to tell.
Oh, that's true. It could be a child. Weiger, you could have made an egregious error. We don't know what the thing's age.
That would be bad.
It would be funny to open up the to see a sex offenders in your neighborhood and it's Thing. It's just a hand.
It's like fingers up. Yeah.
I probably know what this guy's guilty of.
Yeah.
It's the President Adams mansion, just to be clear, everyone.
Yes.
President
Right.
Adams?
President
the
John
president
Adams
of
and John Quincy Adams. The Adams house. The Adams mansion.
Now, is that haunted?
I would guess probably, yeah, in some way, yeah. I mean, but also, like, I feel like the, what's it called? Their servants had quarters basically, like, coming up on the hill. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like there's probably some areas or houses that are haunted in some way.
Do you have your own haunting experience that you can share? Are you willing to talk about it? No worries.
I don't know. I don't know if Wag's ever been on for. Have you heard both of my ghost stories at this point, Wags?
I probably have, but refresh my memory and let the listeners know.
So my only thing is that I lived in this house it was the producer of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. He was Keanu Reeves' stepdad for a while. Paul Aaron was his name. I can say it. Why not? I'm not saying anything bad about him. But
His house is haunted.
His house is haunted. But I when I first moved to LA, like that was like my first internship, and I went and worked on a movie of his in Denver. Like, and he hadn't done like a lot of movies, and he like he was like kind of like an old school Hollywood guy who like hadn't done stuff in years, and had made this movie in Denver, like this indie movie in Denver that no one has ever seen really. But he gave me a job on it, which I was very grateful for, and I worked on the camera department. And I worked in the camera department, and then when I was done, he was like, my dad was like, you should try to give like LA a shot. Like we talked about it, and my mom and dad were like, yeah, go give it a shot. And so I didn't have a place to live, but he offered me to live in his house, and like just be an assistant to him basically. And so I was like, yeah, sure. And I took him up on the offer, and I was in there, and it was an old house. It was a house that Charlie Chaplin had bought for his mom. And so it was like this old Hollywood house, and it had actually like been moved. It was like it had been like picked up and like dug up and moved to the place it was now, which was near like where the Sunset Strip starts basically. Mm-hmm. And so I lived there for a while, and I kept like waking up in the middle of the night. Like I'd wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'd wake up and be like, this is weird. And I kept waking up. And by the way, I like never saw like a ghost, but then my boss had to go overseas for like work. And then he had an assistant who also lived in the house. This guy, James Wah, who still works in Hollywood, a nice guy. And and the assistant was leaving a couple days after him. And then when he was leaving, he's like, do you have like any last things you need to know about the house or whatever? And I was like, yeah. I was like, is the house haunted? And he's like, why do you say that? And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, is it haunted by like some woman or something? And I didn't know anything about it. And so this is the closest thing I've ever had to like any sort of ESP or any sort of situation. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, why do you say that? Why are you asking if it's haunted by a woman? And I was like, I don't know. I just had this weird vibe in this house. And I keep waking up in the middle of the night, and I don't know what's going on. And then he was like, all right, so here's the story. And he's telling the story, and he was like, a bunch of people over like the course of Paul living in this house have like seen this blonde woman, like a specter. And he's like, and his like nephew saw the woman, and he like followed her upstairs and she went into a room and disappeared. And I was like, well, what room was it? And he was like, it's and he's like, it was the guest room. And that's the room I was staying in, was the guest room. And I was like, well, now you guys are going to be gone for like 2 weeks and I'm stuck in this house that's fucking haunted, and I'm sleeping in the damn room where the fucking ghost supposedly, and I don't want to see a ghost. I can't see a ghost. So he was like, well, if you want, you can like sleep in my room. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to sleep in it, because his room was downstairs and it was like attached to the outside. It was like almost like a part of the house that didn't even feel like a part of the house. Like you could kind of come in and out of there. Mm-hmm. And I had to watch this dog Carrie. That was the reason that like I was like watching the dog Carrie, this very, very old dog. And
always covered in blood.
I was always. And so I like would just like I was so terrified. I mean, I was like 22 or 23 maybe, and I was just like living in that house, and I would like wake up and like leave and like go eat lunch and like sit outside and like just like not try to be at the house at all. But I like also was new to California and had nothing to do, so it was like a situation where I was like, I don't want to be in this house. And then like my friend from back in Quincy, Justin, came and visited, and so that was like helpful because he was there while they were gone. But then like other times I would like get drunk with friends, and I would come back, and the TV room was like upstairs, and there was like a nice TV room, and like I would go upstairs and be like, I'm coming upstairs, like don't show yourself. I would like yell stuff like that. Because I was so scared of the ghost. And Tim Kalpakis says this all the time, but when I first like met the Birthday Boys, people were like, do you know Mitch? And he was like, yeah, like he was like this weird guy who's like sleeping. They had a party, and I like came and slept on their couch because I was afraid of going back to my house because of the ghost. And that's like the sketch group that I eventually like worked with for a very long time, who were like brothers. But that was like kind of like the first time I started hanging out with them. Is like I wanted to be away from the house as much as possible, so I was just hanging out there all the time.
Wow, so this really like jump started your career with the Birthday Boys.
I mean, kind of, I guess
the haunted
so.
House.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it did. I'm sure. And that's one of two stories. The other story is just that house up the hill that I said was the scary house that two of my best friends lived in was haunted, and I won't get into it because there's like too much stuff. But it was like Mrs. Tufo, who's my friend's mom, had told a bunch of stories, and basically people lived there before the Tufos did, and it was my sister was friends with their daughter, and then they called the house like years later, Mrs. Hennigan, and was asking for my mom. And I was like, Mrs. Hennigan, I was like, like Mrs. Tufo always told, like I was like, Mrs. O, and then she was like, I'm going to stop you right there. Like, we moved out of that house because the house was haunted. So she like confirmed the stories that Mrs. Tufo had told us forever, that the house was haunted. And I was like, oh, I never saw anything, and by the time I was like a kid, Mrs. Tufo said that there was nothing anymore, like it was gone. She told the ghost to leave. I've told you this, Wag. She told the ghost to go, and the ghost left.
All right. If you don't want me here.
He picks up his cardboard box full of
slime.
Yeah.
Ghosty stuff. Man, I don't know.
Hot dogs.
I believe in all that stuff so much.
Me too.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, there's a podcast that Mary Jane and I were listening to, and if you are looking for a home or an apartment in California, and you ask the realtor if the place you're looking at has had someone killed in it, or if it is possibly haunted, they legally have to tell you of haunting potential.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I feel like I'd rather not know. I think I think
would.
like that would. You want to know in it going in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know. I definitely want to know if there's going to be like a demon on top of the wardrobe when I, get home from dinner.
And,
I want to know.
The bad news with LA is that probably like most houses have had terrible things go down in them.
Right.
It's a I feel like old Hollywood has so much fucked up shit. Like,
Yeah. Do you know about the Black Dahlia house on Franklin?
It's so close to my house. It's the Jaws house, isn't it?
I don't know about the Jaws house?
So it's the house that was Weiger, what's the famous I know who he is and I can't think of it. The famous architect.
Oh, you're thinking of the Frank Lloyd Wright house up in
Frank Lloyd Wright's son.
Yes.
made a house on Franklin called the Jaws house, and it's like a square triangle house. But there was a Black Dahlia thing about. This is the same house, right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Super fucked up. There's a great podcast about it, written and produced by the descendants of the doctor who lived in that house. Who?
Oh wait!
they think
Oh no!
was the guy
No!
who-
Oh no! That. So you're talking about the Los Feliz murder house, which I also know.
There's so many murder houses. I can't keep them straight.
Wait, are you talking about the dentist house?
No, so that's the Christmas murders where
Yes.
he like took out his whole family, and then I guess there were like wrapped gifts, and it was all super weird and crazy, even though there'd been a murder.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Los Feliz murder house, and then the one on Franklin, the Frank Lloyd Wright's son
Yes.
designed.
Yeah, the Jaws house.
is the
yep.
one where they think the Black Dahlia
Yes.
was murdered in the basement.
Yep. Well,
What I was going to ask
it's
is why
like,
is it called the Jaws house?
Bruce the shark lived there for a short period.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
There is like, isn't there like a big? There is like some sort of like big water thing in there, isn't there? Isn't there like a
There's a big pool. We were it was a weed event
pool,
that you were
that's what it
performing at,
is.
right, Mike? Big water thing.
Smaller than the ocean.
Artificial, man-made.
4 sides and a bottom, no top.
I was like, I wasn't sure if it was a fountain or a pool. Like I didn't know what it was. I knew it was something big and weird.
I got the vibes in that place. I know that I was really off for me because I didn't want to eat any of the canapes, which is not like me. If I'm stoned at a comedy show and you hand me a little bite, I'm gonna eat it. But at that house, I just couldn't do it. I was like, there's something weird here that's telling me not to consume anything in this dark place.
Weiger, you kind of touched on it briefly, but this is a new era for the Doughboys pod because, I mean, now you have a standing desk. Now you're eating
That's
vegetarian. Like, things are taking a turn. It's a new day in Doughboys.
We're getting standing Weiger energy on the podcast, and then also, I as of 2020 or 2021 rather, as of 2021, I'm not eating meat for the entire year, including no fish either. Just eating not fully plant based because I'm having dairy and eggs, but I'm eating vegetarian, and as of this record, about 7 weeks in, and I gotta say it's been not too bad. I mean, the thing I miss the most is chicken, which I've said on the podcast. There's really just no way to really replicate that. There just isn't like a great plant-based chicken alternative. And then also I really like eating wings and eating like fried bone-in fried chicken. There's no way to simulate that. So like that's a big old rotisserie bird. Like something from a Zankou chicken. So those are the cravings I've had, but beyond that, it's like not even like bacon or steak or anything or sushi. I'm surprised that I haven't been craving any of these things.
Wow.
I
Have you
have.
tried corn? Do you know about corn? Does
Corn?
that still exist? It was QUORN, and it was a mushroom-based, like mycelium protein thing
Oh, interesting.
that was putting out chicken sort of alternatives. But I feel like it might have gotten pulled off the market for being
Made people trip.
toxic.
Oh.
It might have been like an Olestra type situation where it's like, it'll make you shit your pants.
Oh, yeah.
But it's plant-based, so
I'll look it up.
yeah.
Once you said
Let us
shit your
know.
pants,
Yeah,
really
I
rubbed
know,
his
what the
hands
hell?
together there.
Been missing that Olestra ever since it got banned.
Such a shame.
Yeah.
So are you all eating a lot of salads? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that's no. I'm glad that you cut me off before I could talk about liquidy bloody stools, which was Olestra gave you.
Anal leakage.
Yeah, anal leakage. That's what it was.
Oh,
God. So
I think we should put it out. I
Yeah.
think it's fine. Let's print that
fine.
on the bag and see what happens. It's insane.
I have not been eating as many salads, actually fewer salads than I did, because I when I was eating meat, because I think it's easier to make a salad into a meal if you've got a protein. You've got like some. I can do it with like eggs or egg salad or something or avocado, but it's just without like some tuna or some chicken or some bacon or something. I don't know. I have a hard time getting full from a salad. But I've had a few. I've had Natalie makes my wife Natalie makes a lovely salad. So we'll often have that with a side with dinner if she's preparing it.
Anal leakage reminded me of a story.
let's hear it.
I'll tell it. Even both people in the story have passed away. So Harris Whittles worked on Rob and Big, and there was like a segment where like Big like pulled down his pants like at a window, and this I shouldn't tell this story, but there was toilet paper lined up his butt, and Harris was like, huh? And then Big turned to him and said, you know us big guys, we get leaky butt. And Harris is like, leaky butt? What on earth is leaky butt? And I think you maybe brought it up to me being like, you're a big guy. Do you know what leaky butt is? And I'm like, no, of course I don't know what fucking leaky butt is. I've never just kept toilet paper in my butt or in my pants. I don't think ever.
Well, that's because you're a guy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just
saying.
I remember I think on the Robin Big show that topic came up, so I think you're fine to tell it because on the context of the show he called it. I think Big called it a man pawn. He was like, "Oh, I got my man pawn." Yeah.
All right, so he was open about it. All right, I feel better about telling it then.
Yeah, your ass is regularly leaking, and so you're like, "Well, I got a solution. I'm going to put a bunch of toilet paper up there at my butt crack at all times."
Dear God.
It's kind of gross.
I see an opening for a new product to hit the market. You know, I like dude wipes are a thing. I've seen dude wipes at some friends' houses. You know, some male friends who are using those nowadays. So maybe man pawn is maybe that's an idea we could make some money off of.
It's every dude's product comes in like a black container with like silver and or gold lettering. It's so like that's the only marketing they've settled on is that it's got to look like a box of Magnum condoms, like whatever it is.
I also like the idea. I like the idea of like being out at lunch with Weigers and being like, this is kind of embarrassing, but can I borrow a man pawn and like go?
You go to the bathroom together.
Yeah.
Under the stall.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hand one under the stall.
Or you go to the place with the attendant. Yeah, it's all right there.
Yeah, you can get a lollipop and a man palm when you're at a rave. You know?
Ooh, at a rave, if I was on Molly,
Yeah.
I'd fit a couple up there.
The best place at any rave when you're on Molly is the bathroom. I don't know about the men's bathroom, but women's bathroom is great. They've got like lollipops and glitter and hairspray and tampons, and you can hang out and talk.
I went to Coachella. This was also with Harris and Armin Weitzman, and that was the last time I think I took ecstasy. I believe that's the last time I ever took ecstasy. Was at Coachella, and the next day, Harris threw out his back. And I passed a kidney stone. It was like
God!
It was like the oldest.
man.
It was like such a nightmare, where like I was in the outhouse and I was like, oh, and like just like screaming and being like, I was like, I'm passing a kidney stone. Like fuck, it's like I know I'm passing a kidney stone. And so like his back was, and he was like disappointed because I was like, I need to not be here or whatever. And him and Armin drove me back, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Don't talk to me!" Like I couldn't even have anyone talk to me just because I was concentrating on the pain. I don't know if anyone's ever passed a kidney stone before, but a true nightmare.
Yeah, I bet Thing would be able to help you out.
That is sadly sometimes that is like I've read that this is normal. Like some people do try to like masturbate to pass the stone.
I don't, if you don't want to go too deep, but that's what I was just picturing, like, is the best way to pass it is to kind of almost like,
Milk yourself?
Go-gurt it out of the...
This is the truth. I've never told this on the show, on our show on Doughboys Ever, but we were at a birthday boy's like house party, and I like was drinking, and I was like, oh my God, I got to pass a kidney stone. This has happened to me like, I passed a kidney stone like 7 times in my life.
Wow.
I know it's been awful, and I haven't had one in years. So knock on wood. And I don't know what I changed. I probably did something or drank less, or I don't know what it was. But
Did you stop eating rocks?
I did stop. I stopped hanging out with Gorons and eating rocks.
Yeah. That'll help.
But we were at a birthday boy's party, and I was like, "Hey, Dutton, there was a bathroom down there, but there was literally no lock on it." And I was like, will you please stand here and like watch the door? I'm passing a kidney stone and I like need to go in there and I might have to like masturbate to try to get it out. and Dutton was like, "I got your back," because Dutton is cool, and Dutton was standing guard at the door as I was like in the bathroom, like slowly, like trying to like jack off my. Trying to jack off like my shriveled tiny kidney stone dick. Like it was such a fucking nightmare.
This was at a party?
And it was like a party outside, but like I was in so much pain and I didn't know like the real thing I was like 26 or 27. The real thing to do was like to go home, obviously. But I was like they threw those parties every so often. I was like I need to be here. And then that wasn't successful, but I just kept drinking, and eventually I did pass it, and it was fine. But there was like a moment for like 5 minutes where that was like my attempt to try to get it to pass it through. It was fucking awful.
Oh man,
I shouldn't have told this story. Yeah, Dutton's the man. I mean, he was the man, and he like understood it, and like I think he had known that I passed a kidney stone before at that point, and I was like, I know this is weird. Can you please? And he was like so cool with it, and didn't tell anybody. Dutton's the man.
I'd like it if he didn't know. Maybe like if you go back, you asked him about that, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know there was a kidney stone involved."
I just thought you were jacking off, dude.
I got your back.
a bunch of people with glasses to the door, just like yeah.
It would also be awful if you go back and you're like, and if he was just like, "I didn't know you were jacking off." Fucking freak.
Fucking freak.
Oh man.
I mean, this is the perfect place to wrap up and do plugs. I mean, what else would we? Where else would we go?
Hell yeah.
Check out Doughboys, the podcast about chain restaurants. Mitch and I review a different chain every week, and then on the Patreon, which Weed and Grub has been on as well, excellent guest. We'll do some different formats and talk about food. We'll also talk about movies and other stuff. But check out the free show first, and if you like it, you can check out the Patreon. And then Mitch, you got a movie coming up.
I do. I mean, I don't know when it's coming. It's supposed to be the end of July, but who knows if it will. It might sell to Amazon. But the Tomorrow War, that was in the trades that it might sell to Amazon. The Tomorrow War is supposed to come out on late July 23rd or 27th or something. But that's going to change. So, but check it out when it comes out.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
I'm so excited to watch it.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, me too. I got to see some because I was doing ADR. And I got to see like the monsters, and it looked fucking cool. So
This one involves ghosts also.
it is in a weird way that there's no like actual ghosts in it. Like it was called Ghost Draft for a while, but I can't say too much more because I don't know what is spoiler territory. But it's a big action sci-fi movie, which from what I saw looks cool. So I hope it's cool.
Well, there's one scene you told me about that I think it's okay to spoil because I think I saw this leaked on Reddit, but that like you are hiding from the aliens in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And Chris Pratt is guarding the door
because
you got to jack off.
Yeah. And then like I'm really good at doing it, but then like when I finish, I'm like, oh, and the aliens hear that and they get all
hear
mad.
that, yeah.
Wow.
Thank you both for being on. This has
Thank
been
you.
such a good hang.
Thank you guys.
So fun.
That's awesome. Come back anytime, all the time.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And you can find us at South by Southwest this year, March 16th through 21st. Follow us at Weed and Grub. Definitely check out the Doughboys. Thanks again. Talk to you both as many times as possible. We'd love to have you back.
Hell
Thanks,
yeah.
guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.